right, everybody, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And it's just a pleasure to be here and be featured by Furious Flower. So hang on 1 minute. Tell your friends. I'm just going to try to reduce the background noise around here. I'm a parent and there's noise, despite all of my efforts. Share this page. Tell your friends to come in here. We're going to have a good time today. No stress. No stress. No stress. Um, all right. So we're going to get started in a minute. Just tell your friends to come in and we'll get started. All right. I am just getting ready here. Okay. Lovely, lovely. So welcome everyone. It's a beautiful day. I'm here in my home and it's my pleasure to share some poems with you. So let me start off. I have a little intro I want to read. And at any time, let me know in the chat. I can see the chat. You could comment if you can't hear me or whatever it is, okay? You let me know. So let me introduce you. I'm sure you are familiar with Furious Flower because you're here, but I want to tell you a little bit about this organization, right? So this reading series, and the others are archived, you can check them out. This is the Furious Flower Poetry Center at James Madison University. And the reading series is hosted by Furious Flower. This poetry center is the nation's oldest academic center dedicated to Black poetry. That's a big deal. In the 25 years since the first Furious Flower Conference and the 15 years of the center's physical existence, the programs have reached thousands of poets, educators, students, and poetry lovers around the world. From groundbreaking media and anthologies to seminars and conferences, Furious Flower has impacted literary communities on a really broad scale. Okay, and helping Black poets to encounter their readers, for readers to experience and engage with this literary community that I'm so proud to be a part of. And Facebook Live reading series today is made possible by a grant from the National Endowment for the Arts. So we want to say a big thanks to the NEA for sponsoring this series, right? And we're going to get into it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. All right, let me get back. I have to see myself. Y'all, I need my fan. It's hot. I am Keisha-Gaye Anderson. If you joined me a little earlier, we were jamming to some Gregory Isaacs. I am a Jamaican-born poet, author, visual artist, mother, living in Brooklyn, educator, media strategist, all of that. But I am the author of 3 poetry collections, Gathering the Waters, Everything is Necessary, and A Spell for Living, which just was published in the fall of 2020. In spite of 2020, we didn't stop. We got the book out. So I want to welcome you all. And let me see. All right. Okay, good. I want to welcome you all here. What else can I say about me? I've been writing forever. I have my art has been in a few exhibitions. I have an exhibition now up at African Voices offices in Brooklyn, which is a little pop-up gallery, and you can see my art there. And I'm the author of a few poetry collections. And so I started with Gregory because my vibe is mellow, y'all. I don't want to be stressed. I don't like being stressed out. And you're here with me. It's Friday afternoon. And, we're just going to chill. All right. So let's begin. Let's begin. I want you all to, I can't be there in person and, it's hard to get the energy, but definitely I want you to, be in the chat. Let's talk. I will answer your questions later. And please invite some more people into the room. So, I'd like to start off. I can even tell you, let me see, what else can I tell you about myself? I want to give people a chance to come in because I think we're going to really have a nice exchange today. A Spell for Living, What You Should Know About That Poetry Collection that came out last fall. It's a mixed media project, so it's poems, it's my visual art, and I'll put my website in the chat here. So if you want to check out my art, I'm going to put it in. And there are audio poems that are scored to original music by a friend of mine, musician named Smart Black Kid. So it's really, I wanted people to have a surround sound experience of my artistry, because I feel like, a poem is one way to tell a story. A visual piece is another way. Music is another way. And we have a lot of stories to tell, and we got to tell them. And, being from the Caribbean, a lot of my work centers on that experience and my culture and our unique expression, right? So I think what I'm going to do, because the clock is going, and I don't want to talk too much, go ahead and invite people in, share this page as much as you can so we can get a good group going here. But I usually start with this poem, which is my meditation on the Caribbean. It's from my book, Gathering the Waters. It's my first book. And it's called I Am the Caribbean. In the belly of a ship named for supposed nobility, I came this way. From low-caste Bombay to Chinese-built railway, I came this way. From Irish town here, poor as the one back there, I came this way. I became that jigsaw piece floating on the archipelago. Too enmeshed to go beyond the gravity of my being, I am the Caribbean, a sweltering pool of disjointed life, each day reshaping itself into an electric rhythm, skipping from Bata to Tassa to Nyabingi, weaving through me, making me that kumina sound, that pan melody, that flute in the hills, that shack that brings back that sound of conviction, of personhood fought for, the independent ardor that we bled to see. I came to be that diasporic medley calling me down to ride through this life, changing shape as I see fit. And though we may forget the names of spirit, we call them viscerally. From Port-au-Prince, Port of Spain, concrete just the same. All repositories of potential energy and stilted memory. I am the Caribbean. So, forgive me while I fan y'all. I'm a little hot. But that is my meditation on where I'm from. The Caribbean is a fascinating, magical place. It's one of the first globalized places. It is, it truly is out of many one people. And I know people hear that motto, that is a Jamaican motto, and they think superficially, but there are many African peoples, from various ethnic groups. It's just because people look similar phenotypically doesn't mean they're not many people. They are, and that's a fact. So that adds to our richness, that adds to our beautiful culture. And as much as I can rep that, I rep it because I'm proud. I'm very proud. My ancestors give me everything, all of my art, right? All of my art, it comes from them. So that's fitting. There's a poem I want to share called Ancestors, and I'll jump around because I'll show you my different books, but that one is from this book, which is Everything is Necessary. The title of this book has to do with, this is a common experience. We look at our lives and we think about the challenges we go through, and we just ask, why? Why am I going through this? Why is this difficult? And the answer I got back was, it's necessary for your development. You may not like it, but it's your choice to build something with it, something productive, to make something useful out of it, right? And that's what I've tried to do with my art. Ancestors, you wanted to look into the dark, didn't you? So don't curse these eyes, we gave them to you and sent you to straighten the bends in these steel tracks that link all of our names, rusted under salt water, buried beneath bundles of cane. Sing songs into candle flame for these bones of mine that now reach through you, stand you into 6 feet of woman. They have not forgotten how to brace against the lash or bend backward for the bembe. Each day we move with you, can't you hear? We are riding the rhythm that beats these words through your center. You beg us to enter, but we never left. We is you, is me, is us, all now together since forever. We laugh and lift your sight towards starshine, seashells, sleeping poetry in every alley and piston corner. We tune your ears to the footfall of predators who stroke their loneliness to the bowline of your lips. You wanted to know, not believe. So see it all here now and build a ladder with these visions that lift us up, one by one, hand over hand, after birth to underdirt. We listen with you, roll slowly up this mountain that needed us to tumble down, break ground, and move things. So look here. Kill your fears. Open your eyes. Pull us back together and march us home. Hey, beautiful people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope more people are coming in. So that poem was called Ancestors from my book, Everything is Necessary. I don't do anything without my family. I am the expression of a continuum of accumulated human wisdom and knowledge. Okay? As are all of you, right? And what you need to do is be aware of that, tap into that, use that. There's no one who is not creative. Everybody can create something, right? Everyone can be fabulous. That is, if there's one message I want you to take from my work, is to be fabulous. Be the fullest expression of yourself that you can be on this earth in this time, and remove anything from your life that impedes that process. This poem is called Be Fabulous. Be fabulous. I mean, stand up and say, I am, without words. Know that you are moonlight, pushing aside the night. A hearth-warming chest into a wave of motion when grief slowly siphons breath. No need to scream about what is not or lament the crazy of they. That's the oldest tale of hungry chasing its tail. We are older than all of that. Before all that buying and selling, reluctant or not, we are creators of culture, purveyors of cool, distilled diamonds ditching the dirt of 1,000 long marches through manacles, cane, and cotton. Assembly lines, backdoors only, first-name nannies, wet nurses whose own children rocked with rickets, medical guinea pigs, men who are always boys, who are made the blame for a leaky economy built like a sieve in seismic ground. We've been around long enough to know that no man put salt in the ocean, that Nat Turner was speaking to God himself as himself, and made those two selves agree to proceed with an overdue lesson. We are to lead, even reluctantly, because time breathes in and out on the scale the mind can't measure, but which the soul sees, and plots a journey of light, sound, color, vibration, a path up and out for those trapped inside the smallness of things, a gracious door of salvation out of ignorance. So don't spend any time trying to convince me or her or them you're fabulous. Just be who you already are. Be fabulous, y'all. Because we are. And you have to know that I titled this book A Spell for Living because I like the concept of creating spells. I like the concept of magic. I like the concept of agency, that each of us has the ability to creatively navigate our problems, our obstacles, figure out who we need to work with, to get together to help us. But before we can get there, we need to purge certain things from our minds. Primarily, our worth as defined by this society, which uses us like a cog or a nail or a screwdriver. And that's not what we are. We are far greater than that. You know, we are unfathomable. We are from the eternal, and we have to access that. And so one of the box they put us in, yes, Black is a collective experience. I'm definitely Black. That's who I am. I'm a Black woman. But it's not enough. It's not enough to contain our intelligence. It's not enough as a moniker. It describes a collective experience that must be honored and never forgotten and learned from and healed from. But it's not enough. This poem is called Black is Not Enough. Black is not enough to go by. It's too narrow a space, too clumsy a way to reveal you. Don't you see your place up high along the winding trail of lights resting on mother's neck? Can you name all the shapes of your intelligence that sometimes, when it feels like, splashes over the brim of infinity to condense as jazz? A splash of colors at 5 points, Denzel's deep sea eyes, and our snaking hips to the dance hall rhythms, dip, 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 dip. Unleash your ecstatic laughter for this joyous walk through time and mirrors, where you can love you as us, as all of this. Salt foam under a lavender sun, the jubilant tale of your familiar, a warm kiss of wind in a glade exploding with new life, that sweet sacrifice of guiding the next navigator of your blood. Black is not enough, is too dim, too minuscule an idea for us. Y'all hear that? You gotta believe it. You gotta believe it, because they're out here killing people, right? Yes, honey. And we gotta keep a balance between head and heart, eternal and earthly. That's what I'm concerned with. How to walk that line, how to find that balance. It's warm in here, I swear. Or maybe I'm heating up. I don't know. Lord. Well, unfortunately, there's an endless stream of violence against Black people. And as much as I like to think about things that are a little more ethereal, a little more abstract, I have things to say about that too. And this one I wrote for Freddie Gray. Freddie Gray, I don't know, that one really affected me. Tamir, right? They all affected me. And I had to, part of our work, I think, as artists, in this tradition is witnessing, obviously. And if you really want to know real history, you have to look at paintings, you have to look at poetry, you have to look in fiction, because that's where the truth is. That's the way we have to tell the truth, right? Me, mine, my, what? You will all expire. Whether your spine is crushed in 9 places or your body simply runs out of breath. And right after your death, some other voice, talking through dirt shaped into skin, will walk on electric currents to the timer ticking down the days while singing the same damn song you did. A solo called Ego, composed in a state of amnesia. And then what? Grass will still grow, snow will still fall. Life will still turn itself inside out through the mouths of every creature formed from a similar equation to yours. Why not move something? Why not change the melody? Tune the voices to the thrashing branches bowing in March breeze. Train them to sing like dots of green bravely stretching skyward into the unknown. There is nothing to own. There's only to see. To understand why you came, to know that there are others here, that you are their air, they are your water. God is not out there, but everywhere, in each other. Yes, y'all. So let me look over at the comments. Yes. Thank you for being here once again. Thank you for spending this time with me. I really do appreciate any opportunity to have these exchanges. I wish we could do it in person, but we got to be safe. And I'm glad we're all safe. What a moment, what a year of grief. And we're still here. We got to celebrate that. We are witnesses, right? So let me go over to, let's read this poem called, I think I have time for maybe three more short pieces. A Spell for Living. Crumple up your birth certificate. Toss it in the trash. Set ablaze dollar bills and fashion a picture with the ash, a doorway that pulls through the dreamer dreaming you, and let her spend the day naked in bed. Then storm the church and use the holy water to douse your head. Kick over the lectern, slide between the pews, write the names of all your lovers on Pombagira's shoes. Greet her with champagne that you let drip over your tits, drenching the altar where every shape of you sits atop white lace underneath candle glow, where she touches them to see through you, work you like a crochet needle, flood you with whispered words and images that say, waste no more time running this race you started in your sleep. Fuck responsibility, become a thief, and take back your sight. Flip reality upside down. Life is right behind the curtain that holds you to the ground, seals you in skin, makes circles of your life, repeating repetition, smothering desire. Before you leave this desert, set yourself on fire. We could do it, y'all. You know? Let me see. Yes. So I'm wishing all the best. I hope everybody on here is having a great day, is thriving, is spending time with themselves each day to honor the intelligence that you have naturally inside of you, and that you're thinking about ways, you're thinking about ways to cultivate that, right? And so take back your sight. That's right. That's what we got to do. All right. So what I want to do, I think, and my colleagues here at Furious Flower, they can let me know if I'm going too long. Let me see. Okay. Oh, I can take 10 to 15 more minutes. Hey, okay. Thank you for that. All right. So let's go into, since we're commenting on the society we live in, I think this is a good one. It's called somnambulism. Do you know what that is? That's sleepwalking. This somnambulism, life in objects, riding the rapids of currency, gorging on a daily glut of screens that train sight to shrink, hypnotizes, scatters me, severed from the cause now so distant, I can't recall my descent into this bramble, a circuit of drills for a war drawn into my skin. I need a different type of being. Above the rainbow, under the wellspring, within every drop of warm ocean mist, I miss the knowing that can see through any shape and still remember its way back home, fold effortlessly into the music that makes mountains and orchids, holds the fullness of black night in place so that we may at once go in, feel the grandeur of the whole of stillness, of being, of the point of performance that moves across the grid, through years and voices, just to find a mirror and remember, yes, I am everything and I am enough. We are enough. Okay. This one, let me see. I like to challenge myself, y'all, because, as poets, when we read, we have our old standards that we, that sound good when we read them, and we like to read them, but I like to challenge myself to read the ones that I don't often read because they're good, and I'm going to do that. So let me go over to here. Yes, I think I shall read. Sometimes we judge ourselves too harshly, and you'd be surprised that the poems that you don't really, think are so fabulous, people really love them, right? A message to my descendants. No matter when you're born, you will be whipped in the sandstorm of seismic colonies colliding by their dividing and parching the earth to bury life, denying any evidence of our presence, and there's nothing to do but endure it. This world will always be two halves of the same misery, even when pleasure is the center of your breathless desires. The axe of duality is swinging back to sever your head. But as I said before, we don't dwell here. We will never do well here in this coliseum of the ravenous blind whose destiny it is to devour. We must fly above the hours, bring our two halves into one focus, or risk riding this train forever. It's madness to walk on 2 feet, divide your days according to digestion. We are more than this encasing. We are the breathing question, the intelligence that renders mother's hemline draped across the cosmos, the stars in her gown, reminders of the sea where we sleep. And just like her, we can flash our skirts and vanish when we feel to be free. I promise you, Earth is not your home. It is only the testing ground, the tempering space, a place to wield your wisdom, wrestle truth from fiction, and fight for your every eye to see. But after that, let the dead lay with the dead. Fly home to me. How y'all doing out there? All right, so I am good. I'm good on time. It's so weird not seeing people, but that's cool. So we're gonna work it out. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go back to my book, Everything is Necessary. And a spell for living, well, I'll give you all the details in the question and answer portion, but you can get that. You can go right now on my website and take a look at the ebook. There is going to be a print book version with a whole different collection of my art, and so it'll be a collectible, so y'all better make sure to get it. This one is called Walking the Circle. I write a lot about empathy. I think empathy is high intelligence. I think we need to cultivate that, and most of us are still working on it. How many times can you walk a circle? You are breathless in this flesh, blind and forgetful, partially deaf, pulled by the nose across the globe like cattle, aching from a boundless hunger which is really only questions. Why I? Why now? Why pain? Why at all? And you are marching toward that carrot straight into the mouths of cannibals who live in your peripheral vision, in the foreground, in the background, in the space between your eyes. They are a mist coating you with a mask that you mistake for your reflection. So when you hear, a man was shot today, a boy was lynched today, a street vendor was bulldozed today, a woman was raped today, a child, you say, that is them. But how many times can you walk a circle and not know that you are the corpse, the strange fruit, the wrinkled street vendor, the woman sawed into, the child, the child, the child? How many times, how fast can you walk a circle before crashing into yourself? Yeah, it's a serious meditation, you know. The impulse is to obliterate what you don't like, but that's not wise. And I believe our lessons repeat, you know. So I think as we get older, we need to grow in wisdom. Sometimes, you know, people just get older. They're just old people, but they have no wisdom. Doesn't necessarily mean they have cultivated wisdom. And, you know, I was used to ask my dad, why? Why should I seek the moral high ground? You know, for what? You know, for what purpose? And he always used to say, you do it for yourself. And now I know what that means. You do it for yourself. You come here with yourself, and you know, you're going to leave with yourself, right? So cultivate wisdom. Age. Age should expand the iris of your name into a doorway that lets the blazing light, splintered through darkness, come into clearer view. Years should bloom you like a field of freesias under the sun of your mind, and unfurl you into one of the beautiful things in time. Your journey in bone and skin should mark a firmly trodden path into clay to make a way toward home for those lost in the thicket. We should not just grow up, but grow in. Study the sound that spawned the stars. We are uncoiling toward the greatest possibility of the grandest idea, just to know how fire exploded from blackness into a heartbeat, a grain of corn, an ocean tide, laughter. Age is tempering us into the perfect shape of the divine. Yes. All right. All right. So, how y'all doing? Y'all can still invite more people in. Let them know because we're still going. All right. This is I think I'm gonna read this last one and maybe two short ones, and then I'll take your questions. And I hope you have some questions because I'm here. I'm here to talk. We can um we can vibe out. This is called Return Tripping. All right. This time, life has been an exercise in remembering the red bank rivers of Oyo, canopy of green and electric earth, the running in the dark and the bounty on my flesh, war, 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 splitting us in two, the pieces of my mind on pottery shards in old Calabar, cocooned in petroglyphs I called doodles, the family, generations of questions and afflictions, planted in places with saint names doing the devil's work, the knowing of ourselves that we couldn't do in daylight, hidden behind pet names and digging songs. And we came back, we come back, we are back, still asking, ain't I a woman? I is we, am always she. A head full of mermaids and pennies, words like honey and giggles spiraling on the wind. But still, in all the days, in all the ways, the ashes of these racehorse lives, barbed wire around my memory, keep me safe from the rage of running the mazes I built in my sleep. Yet, I know you. I know us all. Rearranged, but still the same, loving and not in all the same ways. I think I came here to remember so I could finally learn how to forget, and then pitch a hammock among the stars, laugh at all the things so small, so unreal, all me and still not, and just for once and for all become the perfect I who first forgot. Yes. All right. So I think I'm at the end of my time. I think I would choose to end there and take some questions. Yeah, that's good. Let me see what's on my agenda here. What should we do? Okay. Oh, I think I have time for one more. I'm gonna read you one more poem. Let's go back to a spell for living and then we'll end on this one, okay? A spell for living. Remember, we have the ability to create magic, y'all. And, you know, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't still be here, if we didn't. So you have to remember that. All right. I want to share with you a poem called We Are a Star. We'll end with that one. That's from my book, A Spell for Living. We are a star. Baby, we are a star, all of us. But if you want to know what makes this point of light pierce the dark, I have to unfold the scrolls of my existence and show you many lives. Package them in gender, lovers' eyes, epistles written in laughter, statues curved like desire, perfume named loving, resting in the floorboards and the mirror of time. Our faces are a chain link, a lattice work of memories, stretched out from my sleeping mind like wings across midnight. We are a red carpet unfurling the story written in blood ink that chants me into an epic of flesh and movement with each new question we think. Ours is the map that swirls on brisk air, whispered through slumber from far but near. We understand to take this mission, walk toward tomorrow, pull the world with us. Lift the voices arrested in hungry throats, bend the corners back into a circle as we move up, 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 to meet ourselves with each revolution so that each one learns to fly and really recognize once again the way to be without end. So, beautiful people, how are you today? How are you doing? Yeah, give me your questions. So I have, I can tell you again, for those who, joined a little late and don't know much about me, I am a Jamaican-born poet. I'm a visual artist. I write fiction. I have written for television. I've been a television producer. I am a marketing strategist, all of that. But I'm an artist. I'm an artist in the most traditional sense. I create every day. I have an exhibition up now. If you're in Brooklyn, go over to African Voices office at 325 Lafayette Avenue. It's a glass door you can see right through. I have about 10 16 by 20 pieces up there. And some of those pieces, they're line drawings, they're abstract line drawings, and those in the exhibition are prints. But they're included in my book, A Spell for Living, which was published by Agape Editions at late last fall. Okay. And the book is poetry, visual art, and also audio poems scored to music. So y'all, I have a SoundCloud, so you can go on there and listen to the tracks. We, my friend Smart Black Kid and I are making an album with the rest of the poems in the book. So look out for that. We may have a listening party soon. But yeah, A Spell for Living is my collection with the art and the poems. And if you go over, I'm going to put my website in the chat one more time. And you can get all the details on how to find that. You can read it right now online. The ebook has colored art that is colorful, but the print edition, which is coming out in June, which is for sale, is a collectible because it has a whole selection of drawings that are monochromatic that are not in the ebook. And so you want to get that. It's something you need to have a physical copy of. So I think it's really beautiful. I like what my designer has done. It's an experimental kind of design. And let me answer your questions before we run out of time. Okay, someone asks, I love these poems. How much time do you spend tiddling? Are you more into the poems themselves and the titles? Oh, thank you so much, first of all. Thank you, Latorio, for that. Yes, I would like to, first of all, let me just answer quickly. Yes, I would love to exhibit in Harrisonburg. So write me and let's make that happen. I'm completely open to, just immersing myself in my art, right? So yes, how much time do I spend? What I like to do is give my space every day for creativity to happen. Sometimes it's a poem, sometimes it's a drawing. I go with what I'm feeling. I respect the words, the inspiration, the ideas coming through. I'm not so fixated on titles. All of my visual art, people, I have an online shop where I sell them, so I have to give them titles, but they're all different. I can't even remember because they're abstract. It's like you see what you see. The poems, the title is probably the last thing that I will do when I'm writing them. But it's important for me that my process is sort of like a seed or a flower blooming. It's expansive. It expands from an idea. It's not really linear. I do want to write some more poems that do some more storytelling in that way, some more persona poems, but my things are more like expanding on an idea, building on an idea. What were my observations? What are my takeaways? How is that idea expressed in the world? How can I show that? How can I tell a story to show that? Yeah, the title, for example, Gathering the Waters, my first book. There's no poem with that name, with that title anywhere in that book. That is what I think the collection represents. And so that's the title I gave the book. There's no poem by that name. I just felt the idea of that book was pulling together all of the water cleanses, it washes away things, bringing together all the good stuff about our cultural heritage, and finally leaving behind the things we don't need. Corporal punishment. I don't hit my kids. You can say whatever you want. I know a lot of us, that's a big debate. I think I don't believe in it. So I like to leave that behind. I would like to leave misogyny behind. I would like people to understand that women are human beings and patriarchy can go to hell. I want us as human beings to relate to each other on a soul level. That's a lot to ask. I understand I am unusual and there aren't many people who are having that experience. I also understand We all are here to do different things. That's a realization that my work helps me to arrive at, that everybody's on a different journey, and you just find the people who are catching that wave that you're catching, or they're going where you want to go. And then when it's time, you move on and you work with new people. But if it's for the greater good, if you are cultivating your character and becoming a better person, this, yes, patriarchy can go to hell should be on a t-shirt. Yes, exactly. But if you're cultivating yourself for the greater good, that's the best thing, because I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. I'm here to develop myself. I'm here to meet like-minded people who want to do that with me. I want to enjoy myself. I want to have fun. I want to be healthy. I want to be healthy in every way. And most of us are working on that, body, mind, and soul, right? Yes, and let me go to another question here. Thank you for the poem about aging. Yes, I'm retired and recuperating from ovarian cancer. Yes. Yes. Let me just see the rest of this comment. Now I realize I'm becoming what. Could you read that line again? Age is tempering us into the perfect shape of the divine. And I know, Mary, that cancer is a tough one. Both of my parents are cancer survivors. My grandparents had cancer. Like, this is something prevalent in my family. Before I even knew myself as a young adult, I was confronted with my parents' mortality. Thank goodness they are still here, but that's not easy to deal with. And so I was thrust into that conversation with mortality, and I think that it made me the spiritual person that I am, because I was definitely a seeker. I was seeking to know, like, what is going on here? I mean, I was raised Christian like most people in the Black diaspora, like, honestly. And, I learned a lot of good things, useful things, but that is not my framing. I need to know more. I need to explore more. I need to explore my heritage. That set me on a path to know what happened before colonialism. Many of us are on that path. We are trying to rebuild some bridges so we can understand the worldview and cosmology of our ancestors, because that worldview, their languages, their cosmology, their belief systems is the expression of their intelligence. That is what we inherit. That is in us. And so we shouldn't be disconnected from that. But we have been through slavery and, other experiences. We have been severed from that accumulated knowledge, that's accumulated wisdom. And it's important for us to locate that. It doesn't mean that we have to be super traditional or practice in the same ways that they practice their tradition. What it means is you have to, as Sonia Sanchez said once, and I never forgot it, as she said, when you're learning, when you're learning from great people, it's like, what were they seeking? She says, seek what they are seeking. You don't need to actually replicate what they did per se. You need to seek what they were seeking. Was it truth? Was it liberation? Was it healing? What were they seeking? And then what tools did they use? And how can you improve on those? Because you're here to evolve the thing. You have to evolve the thing. You're here in a chapter of a story, and your job is to elevate it. Prince evolved music, okay? He did that. Bob Marley evolved it. You're here to do that. You're not here to just repeat that. At least for me, I only speak for myself. I'm not here to just follow fashion, as we say, and just follow people. I'm not here to do that. I'm an inventor. And so I experiment, Let's see. What pleasure and privilege. Hello, Larry. Yeah, nice to see you here. Evolve everything, man. Because I mean, think about it in, like, if you were like driving a Ford Model T car, like, that's just not the hot thing. Like, you're not gonna be driving that. There's Teslas now, whatever, right? So we're trying to do big things. We're trying to grow, and in that is joy for me. I mean, that's me. So let me see what other questions. There was another question in here. I think I got a question over here. It says, who are my literary mentors? Yeah, these are all good questions. And how does memory shape my work? Is writing a healing act? Okay. Lucille Clifton absolutely is my literary mentor. She was a mother. She used every single part of her life everything from menstrual cycle to raising kids to woodland creatures that ended up on her porch. Like she wrote about them. I love that because I'm a parent and, you know, it's our life. Like there's no separation of church and state for me. It's like my life is art. It's my experience, every observation. That's why also I always tell artists don't resent having to work or, do some job that's unrelated to your art because that's how you learn about real people. Like for some people, maybe at a certain point, they need to just be alone and write novels and purely work from their imagination. I feel for me, I would be a little lonely. And I feel I glean so much from just, I'm an everyday person. I'm not apart from that. And I talk with everyday people. I consider myself an everyday person, right? But it makes your writing richer, makes you wiser, right? So Lucille Clifton's one, Nikki Giovanni, of course. I just had the pleasure of meeting Nikki Giovanni. I got the Poetic Icon Award from my alma mater, Syracuse University, and I was in conversation with her. So I'm kind of riding high on that. She liked my poem, but I definitely love her work. I love June Jordan. And geez, who are some others? I like Robert Hayden too. There's so many people, whose work I just adore. But Lucille Clifton comes to mind at the top of the list. Memory. Yeah, right. Memory does shape my work. Let me just look at some of these other questions. Yes, memory. Well, yes, this is what I was talking about with the bridges we're trying to rebuild. We're rebuilding them to ourselves. How can we excavate that blood memory? I have a poem that starts, this poem is in the Langston Hughes Review this month. So if you can get that journal, I think you can probably find it online. But the first stanza says, "You can't outrun your blood story, honey. You can't. You come out of a context. You should not be condemned to whatever came before you, but it is going to have an imprint on you. You can't help it. Just as you inherit talent, you inherit other things. And so you need to be self-aware to excavate. So memory is huge in my work. I spend a lot of time trying to remember. And even in my meditation, the things that pop up for me, I feel sometimes maybe they're memories. Maybe they're from other lives. Maybe they're my great-great-grandmother's memory that I'm seeing. Who knows? I don't know. I just write it down. That's my thing, is I am obedient like that. I will just write it down. I don't feel that I have the capacity to actually decipher or really know what that is. But it's enough for me that I can make art out of it. It is enough for me. And the gift that I receive from that. Let me tell you a story, right? I had a dream once, and I hope I have enough time to go over this. But I had a dream one night that I was lost and I was walking around and I went down a hallway and I stumbled into this room and there's this woman and she's in her beautiful, resplendent, just beautiful African garb and she is just laid out on her, nice couch and she has a fan and she sits up and she looks at me and it's my face, but darker. It's like, it's my face, but it's not my face. So I woke up the next day and I was in the mood to write and I sat down and I talked out loud about this dream and I said, well, I'm going to write about you, lady, but you got to tell me your name. And a name popped into my head. And to fast forward the story, because we only have like 10 minutes, the poem did get published in Renaissance Noir. Many years, I was proud of that. That was one of the first major publications that, accepted my work. But then I came to find out like the name in Yoruba meant like one who listens well or something. It was like a weird, connection. And I just always felt like, okay, that's a real person. That's an ancestor. And she gave me that poem. So I absolutely revere my memory and it is sacred and I try to access it. Let me look at the time. The last question is writing a healing act for me. Absolutely. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to be effective as a person who contributes, who takes up space on this planet. I want to be effective. I want to be a good mother. I want to unleash my creative potential to the highest level. And I want to be healthy and happy for me, not just for who I am taking care of, for me. If I have to, so I have to heal because we, just by the virtue of our context as marginalized people in this place, who are also coming out of the story of colonialism and slavery, you come damaged, you come traumatized. There's no way you don't. If 6 generations ago, my maternal my mother's mother was an enslaved woman, what could she teach anyone about being a mother? Think about it. And what did my maternal line, what was passed down to them? What could they know? Most of the time, they were like teenagers, just going on, just going down. And if you live long enough and you observe people like your friends, family, whatever, you see someone who has some issues and then they have a child and you see the child has that issue and it's like this thing is just going on. It's just passing through the family uninterrupted, like throwing a baseball into outer space. Something has to interrupt that. So I am, for myself, for my children, I am trying to heal myself so that I'm in my right balanced mind. Whatever I teach them is what I teach them, and I have to let it go because they're going to make their own way in the world, and I have no control over that. But I did the best I could, and that makes me feel peace in my soul. All right, let's see if there are any other questions. Yes, any other questions, y'all? Because I think we have like 5 minutes, and I know I have some closing remarks that I have to. Oh, let me see. I think there are more questions on my phone. Hang on, let me look. Oh, from the chat. Right. Writing is healing. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, all right. Let's see. I think we have time for one more question. Ask me anything while I look over here. Let me just see what I need to do to actually close. Okay, let's see. Okay, got it. So here's a question. Well, poet, I'm gonna say a poet who I love that not enough people know about is my friend Robert Gibbons, we're part of this Women Writers in Bloom poetry salon, but Robert has recently published a book, and y'all need to look him up because he's got some deep repository of like ancestral connection there that he just like has a powerful way of storytelling. And look up Robert Gibbons. Look up his books. He's very good, and I think he needs a bigger stage because I think his work is exquisite, and I've read with him a few times. Right? And let's see. Furious Flower. I don't know. I feel the question is, how did I learn about Furious Flower? I feel like you've always been in my consciousness. Like, I swear, I look back, I was on the newsletter mailing list from like a very long time ago. So I always got the emails, and I just have followed the work and the poets, who've been featured. And I think just, it's so great to have such a historic, institution and just a lot of firsts. And I'm just really proud to be here today to be now a part of that, tradition, right? Let's see. Motherhood. Okay, so the last 2 questions I'll take. What has motherhood given to my poetry, and do I write about Brooklyn? Yeah, okay. So I have a poem about Brooklyn that I got published somewhere, and it's called No One Owns a New York Neighborhood. It was about gentrification. And I have some of my work committed to memory, but not all of it. And I don't know if it's searchable, but that's the title, is No One Owns a New York Neighborhood. And the idea is that people get moved along in places like Brooklyn and other places because of these economic forces that seem sort of mysterious. So, one group of people is displaced by another, but then even some more wealthy people come in and displace those other people who displaced the first people. And part of that is always how New York has been. So I think it was more a broader commentary on capitalism and, just how people get moved, right? Yeah. Let's see. What has motherhood given to my poetry? Man, I don't have a lot of mommy poems. What is it given to my poetry? You know what it gave me? Urgency and structure, because when you become a parent, you don't have much time. And anybody's had a young child, all of a sudden you're like, I can't do anything. My day is pretty regimented. I have to sleep when the baby sleeps. I have to do this. I have to do that. So um, I think I focused more after I had children. I made better use of my time. It sounds so weird. I had all this time before. It's not that I was working, I was busy, but certainly in retrospect, I could have definitely made more time to work on my writing, right? But when I became a parent, I was like, oh, this is going to continue for like a decade, this not having time. So I better get myself together and like put a schedule together. So like I'll give you an example. I you know, I would take my daughter to school when school was open, let's just say like 2 years ago. I take her to school early enough, like if you take her a little early and they go have breakfast and hang out with their friends, and I would go to a cafe close by and I would sit there for like 45 minutes. And that was my time that nobody could interrupt. And I would sketch out poems, fiction. I publish fiction too. I have a story in Quelly Journal, short fiction. I'm working on a novella. So that's hard. Fiction is hard for me. But yeah, that's what I did. That's what motherhood did for me. Is it made me really like value the little free time I had and organize it so I could be productive. So let's see. All right. We will talk for, okay, great. I think we're at time, so let me just return here and just thank everybody. So I'm really grateful you're here. Again, you could have been anywhere else. It's a nice Friday afternoon. It's sunny, but you're here with me, and I appreciate every single one of you who showed up today and all of your questions and your support. I thank Furious Flower again for featuring me. Very proud to be here. So there are some readings coming up that I'm going to plug, right, in this live reading series. There are 3 readings left. One on May 28th for Tongo Ison Martin, one on June 4th for Nandi Comer, and then one on June 11th for Terry Ellen Cross Davis. So check those out, mark your calendars, and thank you again to the National Endowment for the Arts for supporting this series. And, just follow Furious Flower on social or visit their website at jmu.edu/furiousflower. And please, please, I'll put my website in the chat one last time. If anybody new has come on here, look out for check out my new book, A Spell for Living. It's poetry, art, and music. There will be a print version of the book, which has a whole different selection of art, out in June. So look out for that. And please sign up for my newsletter. You can go to my website, sign up for my newsletter. You'll be the first to hear about my book and upcoming readings and stuff. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you all. And I'm going to sign off now. All right. So peace, everyone.